The purpose of this example is to show how to use the ADX in a rising condition as a trade permissive for both long and short conditions. So what I'm going to do now is double click on the Bloodhound output, and this will bring us into setup mode, where I need to name the template. So once again, just to explain what we're doing, when the ADX is rising, that will be our trade permissive for both long conditions and short conditions. I'm going to add a solver right now. This is not a requirement. You don't have to add solvers in setup mode if you don't want to. The choice is up to you. Now, I didn't change the indicator. So when I click OK, the default indicator for the slope solver is the SMA. So that's why the values don't match up with the ADX yet. So let's go into real-time mode. And then in real-time mode, I will change the indicator to the ADX. Alright, so I'll find the ADX indicator, double click on it, and it brings it down. Now we can see Bloodhound's output matches the slope of the ADX. So when the ADX is rising, we get a long output. When the ADX is falling, we get a short output. So we need to eliminate the short output when the ADX is falling. So this will require two slope solvers. So this first one will become our long output when the ADX is rising. For a long output, we can just accept the default values. So for this solver, I only want longs only. I will have to create another solver. So what I can do is I can just copy this one, and I can turn this one into my short signals. So because what I want both long signals and short signals when the ADX is rising. So I'll have to change these output values here, and now I need to change the evaluate to shorts only. There we go. And now get rid of, set these values to 0. Alright, next I'll turn off the long signals. So now you can see I have short signals when the ADX is rising. So I have one solver for the longs and one solver for the shorts. Okay, so next I will add a solver for the stochastics. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a signal based on the ADX rising, and the trade signal will occur in whatever direction the stochastic is pointing. Alright, so I'm just going to set some values here for this solver. I'll set the rest of these to 0. Now, no signals are given here because only 2 out of 3 solvers could ever be true. So we're going to have to use the logic template to separate these solvers out. So we're going to have to use an AND logic node to one for a long signal and one for the short signal. Alright, but first what I'm going to do is I'll name my template, and I'm just going to drop the solver nodes on here and then move them around, space them out. We'll put the stochastic in the middle, and now I will add the AND logic node. And what I'll be doing is ANDing the long ADX signal with the stochastic, and oh, that's actually the short. So let me switch these around. There we go. Put the long up on the top and disconnect that leader. Okay, so there. So now you can see the long signals that occur. So the ADX has to be rising, and when the stochastic is rising, you get a long signal. And now let's show the short signals. So when the ADX is rising and the stochastic is falling, we have a short signal. So now we want both signals to show, so we will OR them together. Use the OR logic node. And now we have both signals on the chart, longs and shorts. Now you can see that sometimes in the ADX you only get like one bar that points up. So as the ADX is falling, sometimes you get one bar where the ADX rises once. So let's create a filter requiring at least 3 bars of the ADX to be rising before we get a signal. So what I did is I copied the long solver twice, and then I can just go in here and change the displacement. So this one, we're looking back 2 bars. Alright, so now I'll do the same thing for the short solver. So this solver is going to look back 1 bar, and this next one will look back 2 bars. Alright, now I will add those new solvers onto the template here. And what we're wanting to do is eliminate those single signals when the ADX only rises on 1 or 2 bars. Those are kind of like false signals in a way. Alright, so let me add the solvers on here. So you can use the wheel on your mouse to zoom in and zoom out. Alright, now we'll just connect the leaders. So as you can see, some of those single bar signals are disappearing now. Alright, so let's look for some of the signals that disappeared. Now you can see that a little bit of lag gets introduced whenever you do this. Right, you don't get a signal immediately if you require more than 1 bar to for confirmation that the ADX is truly rising for more than just 1 bar. So what I'm going to do is remove some leaders and see if I can get that signal to show back up here. There we go. See, it was just 1 bar that triggered a green. And so requiring 3 rising bars on the ADX eliminated that signal. Alright, let's kind of just look through here. Well, let's take a look at that. You know, it looks like that was only rising on 2 bars. And that looks like that would have been a short signal. So let's remove the leaders here and see. Well, no, that signal does not show up. Let's find out why. So this is kind of like how to troubleshoot your system as well if you're not sure why you're not getting a signal when it looks like you should be. So what I'm going to do is connect the ADX. So yeah, so we can see there's 2 bars that were rising on the ADX at that point. So next let's check the stochastic. And there we go. See, the stochastic didn't give us a signal based on the setting, even though it was falling, but the slope of the stochastic was weakening, and that's why we didn't get a stochastic signal. So the system is working correctly. Alright, well, I hope this helps. And please continue to keep submitting your questions.